Okay, so I stumbled across this. I'm not really sure how, to be honest, but I wanted to talk about the whole these kids are demons thing. Now, this even goes back to something I went over like some months ago at this point. That was titled Candace Owens, I'm scared of kids these days, something, 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 something. And yeah, so I'm not gonna lie though, I do get like the things that people are talking about with just how mean people are in general, including the kids. But I don't really see the difference in the evilness or meanness when it comes to the different age groups. And one of the things I could also say with that, am I even recording? Wait a minute. Oh, okay. One of the things I could even say with that is that even with the reality of like how some people do just have their own like little agenda going, still majority of people that push this narrative are perpetrator grown people themselves whose kids act just like them, to be honest. Perpetrators like this lady who want to victim blame and manipulate situations to make their victims look like the bad guys. And like I even remember during the abuse evidence channels, I had my own fair share of situations where I was supposed to get shot at or get shot, not shot at. I was supposed to get shot and different stuff like that because I was a threat, quote unquote. And it's like people I don't know, it's just very obvious that this lady has her own like little agenda going. But let me just play the clip first because I was supposed to be saying something but I completely forgot what it was. Okay, no, that's not it. Hold up. Wait a minute. And I still don't even understand why he even edited this in here to victim blame Nova because, like, either way, whatever that lady's talking about, it's just two totally different situations. Like, it was ignorant and victim blamey and weird to even edit this clip into the situation with Nova and her mom, which people are just talking about, and not because they care, but to victim blame Nova, to make Tania the victim, and I mean, everybody's a victim, but it's like people are trying to like make things about people. Pretty much, people are hopping around the problem. People are hopping around the problem, and the issue of Jezebelic moms it's just gonna keep going. And I actually made a video about Tania. Like at this point, apparently, at least from what YouTube says, I think it was like a whole year ago now. But I didn't make it in like a rude way, but just to talk about like these common issues. And it even goes back to what I always say, there is no quote unquote community nowhere. But that's the whole video of its own. But anyway,
it's a trip.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say though, people are just like talking about it not because they care, but like they just see it as like a big topic and it's like a cloud attention, trying to get views type thing.
Cause I see people right on both.
Okay, hold
we
up.
Commend you. We
Wait a
know
minute.
this.
I think I should start here, to be honest.
It's tricky. You're supposed to honor your mother and father. That's a fact. You understand me? But we keep getting two different stories from each party. One party says
the only story is that Tania and Nova are being trafficked, and they've been in this life, and they live in LA where a lot of this stuff is going on. Tania is a Jezebel, as usual, the usual, and Jezebel conditions their kids to become Jezebels through all the essay and there's generational essay in the family. Tania's dad and uncle and all those people are all chomos. The usual stuff that creates the Jezebelic woman and man, to be honest. There isn't really no story. Of course, Tania's going to make herself look like the victim, but that's really irrelevant. Neither one of them, Tania or Nova, are in a safe situation. Like, there is no other story but the reality that there's abuse and nobody's safe. That's the only story there is. Like, all this trying to find a way to paint the victim as a bad guy and all that, It's just all bull crap. That's why the same issues are gonna forever be going on. And one thing that a lot of people, especially people that are like, I guess I could say, not easily brainwashed and manipulated and are intelligent from a young age, realize really, really young, is that most people aren't that smart. And his little commentary and just how people react to these types of situations just goes into how most people aren't that smart. And it even goes into something that I realized really young, which is that being stupid actually makes you evil. And one example that I always use for this is like how somebody may have a kid that's like, I don't know, 3 or something, and they'll like terrorize the kid and tell the kid that there's like a monster that's gonna eat them because they're stupid and they think it's funny. But what they don't realize is that they're setting the kid up for all types of issues and OCD type stuff and spirits of fear, and to actually be seeing monsters trying to eat them and having nightmares and all of that stuff. But they're so stupid, they don't see the real ramifications of that, and it makes them evil, and it makes them abusive. And this is why you'll notice that, like, a lot of, or some Jezebelic people that are like, especially that are like mid or lower ranking, they don't really see their behavior as bad because in their eyes, they're just joking. Like, I don't know, the toxic friend or whatever that likes to call people ugly because they think it's funny, but they don't realize how abusive they actually are. And then as stuff like that goes on, they get worse and worse. Actually, but that's like a whole nother topic. But anywho, yeah. And I know I mention the LT Corbett situation all the time, but I really feel like it fits this topic too, kind of. I remember with the LT Corbett / Soph situation. She's somebody that would be labeled off as like Asperger's these days, but she's someone who was smart from a young age, which is part of why she went viral the way she did, other than like rice gum. I still do wonder if she's an industry plant, to be honest, but that's a whole other topic. So I remember that when the whole thing really started to get bad and like they were getting ready to do the walkout to get her kicked out of school. Actually, no, before that, because this is when she was still like 11 or something. People were saying that she was a jerk, or she was like prideful and stuck up, and these days people would even say the whole narc thing. But realistically, she just acts how somebody would act when they realize how smart they are compared to most people, especially at a young age. Like, if you're 10 and you already know like that type of stuff of like human trafficking and all those different things, and you know like most grown people don't know about that or don't want to believe that it happens, or even just knowing about different things that aren't like too much like I don't know, hard to hear topics, but just things that are like basic, that aren't like traumatizing, but people still don't know about it or want to believe it. If you already know those things and you're like 9, 10 years old, of course you're going to kind of come off as like, I don't know, like a jerk or something, because you realize how upfront and forward you are, and how people are kind of like, I don't know, most people just aren't that smart. I don't know how else to put it. But this was a stupid commentary, is the point that I'm trying to get at.
You gotta go do this and do that to get me back. One say you gotta do this and do that to get back. It's, bro, it's a whole lot. It's a trip, bro, because I see people, right, on both sides of the fence. They like...
And to be truthfully honest, these people that are running around talking about the whole honor abusers and stuff, they don't know anything about what the word honor means anyways. And then it's like, that's why I talk about what I like to call parent worship, which has nothing to do with even worshiping Yahweh anyways. Parent worship leads you down a dark, dark path. In fact, I'm not saying this because of the situation with Nova and Tania, but I've always said, listening to people will have you unalived on a pole. Or no, not unalived. It'll have you on a pole or unalived. Because they're getting out kind of like... Or, shoot, maybe you'll be unalived on a pole. But I've always said, since I was, like, really young, that listening to people will have you confused, It'll have you prostituting somewhere, confused about who you are. And just because somebody's older than you or they're a parent doesn't mean that you should listen to them. Because, I mean, shoot, I'm surrounded by sexual predators on a daily basis. I would be in a very bad predicament if I was one of these people that believes the whole respect your elders no matter what stuff. I would be either not alive or I'd be pregnant somewhere if I even can get pregnant. And yeah. And of course, sexual predators and other abusive people always throw up this whole "you're a child and you need to respect me" thing. In fact, I forgot to find that clip. It's like one of my first couple videos in the predatory playlist with just like different examples of like how predatory people work and like how predatory behavior works. And there was this girl at the gym and she's 17 and then the dude is like probably 40 plus and he was mad because she didn't want to get with him or be abused by him, really. And so then he did the whole "you need to respect your elders" thing. And she was like, "You're mad I won't have sex with you. Now you want me to respect you?" And then she was like, "I'm 17 and all that." And he was like, "Well, 17 is legal." And that's something I talk about pretty often because like people that are in the whole minor crisis thing are very confused about the difference between the 18 adult laws and the age of consent laws. People think that's the same thing, but it's not. But either way, it's still all superficial and revolves around paraphilias. And people aren't getting with people or trying to get with people because they actually like have something in common with them. It's a lot of immoral objectification stuff with all of this. But anyhow, as I always say, religion is the new world order. Something I've noticed is that everything bad in society is backed by flipped around religious doctrines. And that's why the whole Noahide laws and the Sunday worship Luciferian laws are going to come out, which of course are never going to come out as Luciferian. Because, I mean, all religions are pretty much the same thing just about anyway, so they all come from Babylon. You don't really have to, like, differentiate them much with the titles, but, like, there's already the Christian nationalism, which worships the Caesar Borgia, Nordic, Pleiadian, Aryan, and all that stuff, and it's like, everything bad is gonna always be pushed by religion, and the idea that people are worshiping, quote-unquote God, whatever that means, because ineffable name doctrine is there to confuse people.
Oh, go get your kid, go get your daughter, do whatever you can, keep trying this, that, and the third, and then there's some people.
Like I even mention often with the whole thing I like to call Sixth Commandment culture, and how that revolves around red rum and people seeing self-defense or just, well, yeah, people seeing self-defense as bad. And it's like, first of all, these people are mostly following people like Martin Luther King, a boule Freemason house N-word, who was a puppet, an industry plant, as people would say these days, usually for like the music industry, but honestly, anybody that's pushed in your face like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and all those different people, they're all industry plants. And like Malcolm X isn't even the same ethnicity as many of us who are conditioned to follow him, but that's another topic. But anyhow, he taught docileness that he learned from a choma who liked little white boys. He beat women. He got prostitutes. He beat the prostitutes. He learned docileness from a dude who was similar to Shane. Okay, I got sidetracked. What was I gonna say? Crap. Oh yeah, he taught docileness that he learned from a dude that was similar to the Shane dude that I went over like some weeks back with that whole situation with the police and the harassment in the library. That whole situation. So, as I talked about before, Shane, one of the first things he did was talk about how much he hates the Menendez brothers. Shane is a dude who essayed his own kids, wanted to essay me, and was essayed by his own parents. Of course he's going to hate the Menendez brothers. And I noticed that people that have been abused and have perpetual victim complexes themselves also have this, what I like to call Sixth Commandment culture, that revolves around Martin Luther King bullcrap. And this all goes into how everything bad is literally backed by flipped around religious doctrine. The idea that you have to be a victim, don't defend yourself, violence is bad. And it's like, so these people definitely wouldn't like Nat Turner then. Trying to think of another example, but he's one of the first people that comes to mind when I think of like this whole thing. But also one of the biggest things with Sixth Commandment culture is the idea that you can't defend yourself from parents or family.
Bro, cause I see people right on both sides of the fence. They like, oh, go get your kid, go get your daughter, do whatever you can, keep trying this, that, and the third. And then there's some people that's like, girl, you trying, we commend you, we know what it's like, these kids is evil.
Okay, well, see, there's a lot of stuff I could say with that. Now, as far as the running away thing, which I really wasn't going to talk about the Nova thing, I was mostly going to focus on, like, this part of the video with this lady talking about how kids are demons, but honestly, I have to say what I'm going to say. As far as the running away thing, one of the things with this that people seem to forget is that Nova, especially, like, since the first interview, which apparently she was 11 or 12 in that one, was in CPS custody. And being in CPS custody is being homeless and being trafficked. Aside from the stuff that she had learned when she was back with her mom, with all the SRA trap stuff that was going on, and like doing whatever you can to make money. Aside from that, being in CPS custody is being homeless and being trafficked. CPS doesn't have anywhere to place people, so of course Nova was going to be homeless. And then also the whole getting kicked out, her mom not wanting her there, the whole situation that went down, which I found really interesting, where she said that her mom said that she didn't want any R-word victims around her kids, which is very interesting because Tania's an R-word victim, and I'm sure most, if not all, her kids probably are. So that's very interesting. But anywho, then the running away thing. People should not have to be stuck in a toxic environment. People feel like youth should like be stuck in an environment, and then they'll tell you the whole wait till you're 18 thing. Nothing's gonna be different from leaving at 16 and leaving at 18, other than the fact that you're old enough to go to a shelter, which isn't safe anyways. Definitely not at that age. And the police aren't technically supposed to be able to kidnap you and lock you up and charge you and send you back home, but they're gonna do whatever they want to do, and society will still try to lure you back in. If society could call the police on you and get the police to take you back, quote unquote, home at 18 plus, they'd still call the police and get them to do that. Because, like, youth are seen as punching bags and all that stuff that I always say. And overall, there is no safe place for people with no family or abusive family. As I use pretty often as a thumbnail, because it was a comment from somebody who was in CPS custody and they ran away at like 14 or 16 or something like that, and they had to do the whole usual lay low till 18 thing. Although, even if you're not laying low and hiding, you're still going to be homeless multiple times, like full-blown homeless, visibly homeless, while you're in CPS custody even before 18 or 21. And so, yeah, it's like the whole go get your kid thing, or you're trying, but it's like her running away doesn't really make a difference if both her and her mom are like involved in these different ways of trying to make money and these different types of abuse. She would still be in these situations when it comes to the SA work, or quote unquote work, whether she was living with her mom or not, because her mom's into it too, and her mom taught her about this stuff, and people in the community in LA taught her about this stuff. Running away doesn't equate being involved in supposed quote unquote sex work or the sexual, the SA. So it's like people like to play this game that, as I've talked about before, escaping an abuse situation or running away automatically means that you're in danger and you're gonna be a prostitute, quote unquote, or you're gonna be being quote unquote fast and grown and sleeping with grown men, which plenty of people who still live with their abusers because they've already been SA'd by their parents or whoever anyways, they chase after traumas as a coping mechanism and because it's all they know, and have never been homeless or visibly homeless by themselves. because people like to push these fear tactic narratives to make it seem like running away or being a street kid or being homeless under 30 automatically means that things have to be like horrendous, even though me and many other people, which I'll put the video in the description of some other girl talking about this, which I've put, not in the description, I put it in the comment section, which I've done that before. It was a video of a girl in recent times talking about like running away and how she's been in fight or flight mode less since being homeless than when she was living with her different abusers.
Parents, let me tell y'all something. A lot of my content that I do, I won't say a lot of it, but I'll say quite a bit of my content that I've been doing lately has been inspired by the messages that I get from parents of either estranged children or very, very, very disrespectful children. They are emancipated already, but they're still in the home.
Wait a minute.
Then there were colors, and the lights came on.
I don't know. I
Daughter,
keep getting
do whatever you
sidetracked.
can. Keep trying this, that, and the third. And then there's some people that's like, girl.
I say quite a bit of my content that I've been doing lately has been inspired by the messages that I get from parents of either estranged children or very, very, very disrespectful children that's on their way to being grown or already at an age where they are emancipated already, but they're still in the home. Let me tell y'all something, and I want y'all to hear me good, okay? We are living in a time of the wicked youth. We're living in that time. It's already prophesied in the Bible. We're living in the time of the wicked.
But this is just such an annoying thing to even put into a video about human trafficking victims. And it's just like, and people that are just like in a really bad situation, struggling really hard, generational trauma with SA going on from every angle. It's just like, there's going to be a lot of
These
background
young
noise.
people, yes, your children included, are very wicked. They are very disrespectful, and they don't care nothing about you. I'm not saying that this is 100% of the youth, because I do believe that there are some good children out there. But most of them, they are done for.
See, this even reminds me of something that one of my abusers used to say all the time, which is that all kids are bad. But it's like, something that I always say is all people are bad. There's like, people, this even goes back to the whole for somebody to be up, somebody else has to be down thing. People are always going to have to try to put somebody beneath them, whether that's by saying this person's poor, this person's dark skinned, this person's bad, this person's crazy, this person's quote-unquote retarded, stuff like that. People are always going to have to do that to make themselves feel better. For somebody to be up, somebody else has to be down. It's a pride thing. And what else was I going to say with that? It even makes me think about something that I mentioned with the Cash for Kids system. They're there to manipulate you into believing that your abuse is your fault and that you did something to deserve it. Well, not even the Cash for Kids system. The human cash cow systems as a whole. They're there to create an issue that isn't there, and they want to make you feel like there has to be something that I've done to make myself go through all this abuse and all this different trafficking and Ramco and all this different stuff that's happening. They want to make you feel like you're either bad, crazy, slow, retarded, or the different things that go along with that. Even weird. Like I've mentioned before, especially back during the abuse evidence channels, is that, I mean, aside from maybe the sexually acting out from generational stuff, really, when I was like elementary age, which that was before I started going through Cash for Kids system abuse anyways, like, there wasn't really anything that I did that could be considered really bad, to be honest. Like, a lot of times when I was in the Cash for Kids system and just like different things with my abusive relatives, they would just have to like make up stuff to make me feel bad about, or to try to make me feel bad about, or I would just be getting in trouble for being quote unquote weird. Like, even if you never do the fighting, which is, I mean, a lot of this stuff is trauma symptoms anyways, but even if you never do the fighting, the cursing, the doing substances, sneaking out the house, to like go to parties or whatever, sneaking boyfriends over, even if you never even have any friends, because just how you're wired differently, or just because your trauma symptoms, or you're in too many isolating abuse situations to even make any friends. Even if you can't do any of that stuff, they're still going to try to make a reason for you to be the bad one or the bad guy. Like, oftentimes with Jezebelic or quote-unquote narc abusers, you'll realize that they don't actually know anything about you and they have to make up stuff to make you the bad guy. Like, they have to pretend that you're, like, sneaking out to go see friends even though they know that you don't have friends and the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree because your parents don't have friends either. But they always have to, like, make a reason to make you the bad guy. Make a way to make you the bad guy. Like, a lot of times I would be getting in trouble for being quote-unquote weird. Like, for example, the common situation of the parents that'll, like, get mad at you and they'll put you on punishment for reading books. Stuff like that. They have to find a way to make you the bad guy. Because that's really how the world works, because everything is a cult and society is a cult.
And you better get rid of them. Because when they start showing signs of violence and disrespect, or when they start being violent and becoming disrespectful, baby, they don't care nothing about you no more at that point. When my daughter was here, this last time before she got out of here, she went totally bananas in my house. And my husband, because he travels a lot, he said to me, you better get that gun and you better put it on the nightstand and you lock that bedroom door. But if she come through that door, you better light her ass up. They don't care nothing about you. Those demons that they working for got them raging and they are out of control. When those people come in my comments, they be saying stuff like, your children don't owe you.
And then I see the seashells in her hair, and that attracts more Marine Kingdom spirits, which is already generational for quote unquote black and white people. But people often mention how like most quote unquote black Americans, especially the women, have a spirit spouse, which is generational. It actually was put on us like through curses from idolatry, but also even like during slavery. But of course, everybody's not a slave trade descendant. But due to the things that the school system, the medical system normalizes when it comes to sexual behavior, starting it early, like they tell you that all these things that aren't normal are normal, and that you should do them because it's a part of being a kid or being young. From the idea that watching porn is a part of puberty, apparently, to other weird stuff that the school and medical system pushes. Those things will make you have a spirit spouse too, but it's also usually generational, and it also comes from being SA'd. But if you already have a Marine Kingdom spirit or spirit spouse or whatever generationally, it'll set you up to be SA'd, not even just when you're young, but also throughout really the rest of your life. So like, you get SA'd by family when you're young, and then when you're older, you're still getting R-worded by random people walking down the street. Stuff like that. Like, I remember this one girl was talking about she, like, got R-worded walking down the street 2 or 3 times, and I was like, that's not how that's supposed to go. But definitely for a lot of people already know that you're in a bad situation, your parents don't give a crap about you, or you don't have parents, you are pretty much seen as up for grabs. And also, just like the whole thing I always say, street kids aren't seen as kids, so if you're a kid and you're visibly homeless, you're automatically seen as a lazy man or woman, and you're up for grabs. And so there's also that. And what was I going to say with that? I don't even remember.
You respect, and no wonder your children went estranged and all that kind of foolishness that they be saying that don't make no sense at all. I don't respond to those people. You know why? Because those people are demons. I don't say anything to them. I either
feel
block
like
them, delete their comment, or just totally leave them where they are. I don't interact with those people because I already know what's going on. I'm here to talk to the parents. I don't care nothing about what these disrespectful ass children are going through. I don't care nothing about the abuse stories. I don't care nothing about that because I don't believe them. I don't believe nothing that comes out of the mouth of a young person in 20.
And see, this makes me think about one of the comments that I went over in the... Wait a minute. In... what was it? This video right here, the pre-vid, screenshots, kids are demons, question mark. I have some screenshots in there, and like, I remember one comment was like, why would her husband tell her to smoke her daughter unless he essayed the daughter and the daughter's upset that she picked a man over her or something like that. Then somebody else said, it sounds like maybe her daughter has some untreated mental health issues, which I don't even like that mental health bullcrap, but either way it's trauma symptoms. But they were like, it sounds like her daughter has some untreated mental health issues that she let get too out of hand. But honestly, I doubt it. Like, and see, it's like when people talk about the issues of Jezebel, like quote-unquote black and white women, it's like a lot of people, they want to be like, oh, you're just misogynistic, or you just hate black women and black women are tired of being blamed for everything. And I'm not saying that the men don't have this issue as well, because I mean, people had the same generational trauma. People like, I mean, even with the SA, that also can make somebody become Jezebelic. As I always mention, most people, male or female, have been essayed or have had early sexual exposure. And I know there's even this dude named, Nelson Schumann or something like that mentions this pretty often. I even remember this one comment in one of the videos where he mentioned this, and they were like, speak for yourself, Nelson. And it's like, that type of response is a response of somebody who's either in denial of the reality of the world, is in denial and has cognitive dissonance because they know they've been essayed themselves, especially because it sounded like the comment that a man would make. And often when dudes are essayed, especially if it's by a woman who's not related to them, they're made to feel like they were just lucky and they weren't like essayed. And then also the response of somebody who's a perpetrator themselves, if I didn't already say that. But yeah, so like, sure, a lot of people have these issues, but like some people definitely do have them more, and they hate when people talk about it. Like, people have even I even seen some comments. I don't remember what video it was under, but maybe it was this one where somebody was like, the hatred that black women have for their kids should be studied. And I think they said daughters specifically, but I mean, there definitely are types where, like, due to like their issues with men. This is also seen with Jezebelic white women that do the whole white mom, black dad thing. They like their sons more than their daughters because of their obsessions with quote unquote black men. And so, anywho, even quote unquote black women do this as well. Like, depending on what issues they had with like men, they either hate men and hate quote unquote black men and hate their sons, or they treat their sons better than their daughters and they take them through all types of emotional incest. He's the golden child, which the golden children still do go through like a lot of abuse as well. So there can still be emotional incest and all those different things. And then they like, for example, when I lived in the hood, which I have very few memories from this point in my life, there's this one neighbor who would like jump her daughter who was like, I don't know, 10 or something. And then she wouldn't like punish her sons, which I don't even like the whole idea of abuse as punishment, but she wouldn't punish her sons for anything. And it's like, they either have like a secret obsession with their sons because they like men more and the issues that go along with that, or they hate their sons because they hate men, which even makes me think about the Guadalajara meth addict who was homeless since 7 in LA, although this dude is quote unquote white, but his mom hated men and now he hates women, and he had to like sell himself at 7 just to be able to get food to eat. Of course, street kids get charged and go to jail for being homeless, even though the police knew he wasn't allowed home, and so he would get treated like crap and abused there. There's also a lot of abuse that goes on in essay that goes on in with juvenile justice and the prison systems. And I'm sure like he probably went through some stuff with that. All that goes hand in hand. So like, yeah, a lot of people have these issues, but some people have it more and nobody wants to talk about it. And if you do try to talk about it with people, they'll try to like pull a victim card, or they'll try to do like some minority thing, stuff like that.
25. I sure don't. I'm on the side of the parent. Period. So let me tell y'all parents.
And that also goes back to the thing. There's no such thing as parents. There's no such thing as men. There's no such thing as women. There's no such thing as a child or a childhood. There's no such thing as an adult or an adulthood. People are just trying to survive. People are just doing what they were told they have to do to survive and being what they were told they have to be. From societal pressures, splits and fractures in MPDs, programmed MPDs. Everybody has a level of DID. Everybody has multiple personalities from trauma, stuff like that.
Once more, get rid of them disrespectful ass, demonic ass children. These young people got their phones in
and
their
why
hands.
As soon as they turn 18? Because most people get kicked out or end up having to escape abuse way before that. So it's like, shoot, as I mention all the time, all my siblings on my mom's side were kicked out at 14. And I always mention, people typically first become homeless by themselves. Some are from infancy to 16, and more so 7 to 16 for full-blown visibly homeless.
All day long, or whatever devices they have, and they are being brainwashed, and they are listening to social media. That's who they listening to. They not listening.
And what she means by this, because I can pick up this type of manipulative like talk. Like, from the stuff that I have been through and have witnessed and even know people that have like been through these certain types of like manipulative things, I know the Jezebelic word salad. I know what people. How does the saying go? I read the quiet parts out loud. I know what people are saying when they're not saying it. What she's saying is, your kids are listening to people online that are telling them that they're traumatized, that they're being abused, and that they shouldn't be getting essayed by their uncle, and it's demonic stuff that's brainwashing them to not like their abuse and to not want to be around you because you're abusing them, and that's the demonic stuff, quote unquote. I read the quiet parts out loud.
To you. You are no longer important to them. These kids don't feel like their parents important to them no more. You just another person. And all they doing is waiting on you to get wrong so they...
As far as the whole you're just another person thing, when it comes to family systems like the one that she obviously has going on, and the usual, I've mentioned before, people don't really talk to their kids. I don't know if it's like because they feel like they don't have anything to talk to them about, but it's like there's not really a lot of like emotional connections, even in family systems that aren't like outright toxic and abusive and like with crazy, horrible stuff going on. Even like family systems that are generally like healthy, they don't really do like a lot of talking sometimes. And it's like people just, there's just not a lot of emotional connection. So like the family systems already don't love each other, really like each other. They're just like around each other. And it doesn't even have to be like this hateful thing. Like I mention pretty often that I don't feel a lot of emotion. And when you grow up with like these types of like parents where like they're living in a false self and they're taken over by the dark side, and they have a lot of splits and fractures and their mind is like somewhere else, you can't connect to them. Like this is why a lot of people have BPD, not bipolar, which that's bullcrap anyways, but borderline. A lot of people have BPD, and I only attract other BPD type people. People don't want to admit it, but BPD is a trauma symptom, of course, like all of their mental labels, and it's something that you can get at any point in time. And it comes from not having parents to be able to attach to safely, and to be able to go to when things happen and talk to, and pretty much never being loved. Most people go to the grave never knowing what real love is. You're born alone and you die alone. So like the whole people, your kids don't give a crap about you or whatever in the world, people really don't give a crap about their self or anybody else. And it doesn't always have to be this like hateful thing. People just, there just really is no love. Like people don't feel emotions towards each other. Like I even knew some kids that had like a pretty decent family system, and their dad worked a lot, their mom worked a lot, which I've mentioned before, especially since the abuse evidence channels, that people that have parents that work too much or that are rich and work all the time and send them off to boarding schools, they often end up developing personality disorders as well from not being able to have an attachment, as well as the abuse they go through in the Cash for Kids system placements like boarding schools. But anyways, these girls who I knew that had like a decent family system, I remember like I asked them if they would be sad if their parents passed away, and they said they wouldn't cry or anything, and they wouldn't really be too sad. And it's like, there's not a lot of emotion on any end from anybody.
Go crazy. Because when they constantly got their heads down in these devices, yeah, they listening to demonic forces. I don't just get on here and say that because somebody might deem me as some kind of religious nut. I'm not religious. I just know what the Bible say. I just can see it. I know the times that we living in. You better get yourself safe. When they start showing signs of disrespect, yeah, you better get them on up out of there, because it don't...
See, but somebody being disrespectful and somebody being, like, so dangerous to the point where you're having to get a gun, I mean a GUN, because I don't think I can say that, they're two totally different things. And it's kind of like, it's definitely some bull crap. It's, like, so disrespectful to where you're talking about hooping them. That doesn't even sound right. Just to say what's going...
better. And then these little minions of Satan that be coming in here trying to tell parents that we messed up and all that. Now, we ain't messed up. We ain't messed up nothing. Society done messed up our children, and that's why they acting crazy. It ain't got nothing...
Are you not a part of society?
...to do with what we did wrong. That's why I be telling y'all parents, pick up and live your life, because you ain't done nothing wrong. You was a
pick up and live your life. I thought you meant pick up the gun. Dang, I keep saying that. Hold up.
and you was an imperfect one, and that's that on that. But yeah, but watch them children. Watch their actions. Keep your eye on them.
Definitely demonic possessed children running around this motherfucker. It's a bunch of demons, period. It's a bunch of signs too. I ain't gonna give you the low. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, it's definitely some demonic shit going on, fool. You know what I'm saying?
This is some bull crap, sitting there with that baklava on. But anywho, what was I gonna say? Crap, wait a minute. Hold up. I'm pressing the wrong stuff. Okay, so I was gonna say, my usual. With the fact that abuse is a demonic ritual, and that the number one reason for demonization and full-blown possession in the Western world is abuse and trauma, yeah, it makes sense people are possessed out here. But people like to throw around the term possessed, though. Like, the reality is that half everybody really has demons. A lot of people may think they don't. There's even, like, a lot of arguments about how this would work. But it's like it even makes you think about the whole thing. People will be like, how to know if you need deliverance. There isn't a reason for anybody to not need it, to be honest. But I will say, though, something I even think about with my situation is that if you're still in unideal situations and still in like situations where you're still being traumatized, I don't really know how it's like really gonna work out. It even makes me think about the thing with like how people say the whole get therapy thing, but if you're still, well, for one, I wouldn't even do the whole therapy bull crap anyways, but if you're still in situations where you're being abused and traumatized, I mean, what are you gonna do? You can't be traumatized and heal. And the thing is, you're always gonna be having traumatized and stuff happening in this world. And, I don't remember what else I was gonna say with that.
As a mom of 2 boys, having health insurance is extremely important.
It's a bunch of signs too. I ain't gonna give you the low. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, bro, it's definitely some demonic shit going on, fool. You know what I'm saying?
And the music.
Okay, so I'm gonna just say this now, because all these fake pages is finna irritate me, for real. Y'all keep saying, oh, there's a reason why you getting kicked out and da-da-da-da-da. No, I'm getting verbal abused, physical abused, all type of shit, like, and y'all telling me to check myself in the school, yes, I do.
And then I'm still trying to figure out how Tania's talking about how she's a single mom, and she just had well, honestly, it's probably a couple months ago at this point, but she just had another baby, and she has, like, 6+ kids, and it's like, well, shoot, but then again, I just forgot, she is, selling herself for money and stuff. Because it's a way that she's felt like the only way she feels she has to make money. And of course the generational essay and all that stuff. I forgot about that for a second. But it's like, but nah, because I was going to say the whole condom thing and all that. But then again, it's like often when you're in these types of situations that is labeled off as quote unquote work, like you're going to be getting like R-worded and stuff. So you're not always going to have the option even use a condom or any of that. But yeah. So I don't know what to say now, but not that that's an excuse, but I'm just saying, because I was thinking about it, and it's like, shoot, people, I don't know what else to say about it.
Going to school and I've been doing what I'm supposed to do, but it's only so much I could do when you don't have no parent. You feel me? Like, I'm not going to no group home. I do not want to go to no group home. I'm trying to help myself out here, you know?
And that's the thing, though. When you know you have to save yourself, and that people literally, like in that last video, actually, that I made that post about, where that dude was talking about was telling this girl, do you ever feel like it's like one-sided and you're like asking people to help you and support you, but you're not giving anything in return, or something like that? And it's like, that's the thing. People want to have this like minor crisis bull crap. Nobody cares. Wait a minute. Yeah, because I was about to say nobody cares a crap, but nobody gives a crap about any of that minor mess. No, nobody cares about that. Nobody ever did. That's actually a big part of why the minor crisis is happening, because people want to come out the woodworks pretending to care now all of a sudden about certain groups, even though they really don't care regardless. But it's like, there's no such thing as a parent, there's no such thing as a community, none of that. You have to save yourself. And then people want to try to make people let you know that you have to take care of yourself and that nobody's going to feed you. But then when you're doing stuff to feed yourself and to take care of yourself, then you're being bad, fast, and grown. And it's like, even if you don't do those things, you're still going to get labeled off as bad and fast and grown because you're not with parents and all that stuff. And as far as the group home, I mean, she has a CPS custody, but it's like, I mean, a group home isn't safe and you're still not going to have your needs met. And that's where also people are funneled into more types of trafficking, other than the fact that CPS is in and of itself human trafficking.
Nova, stop doing your mom wrong. If I recorded everything that she do, this shit would be bad. It would be bad. And she be trying to threaten me.
But that's another thing, though, that I mentioned in plenty of videos, especially my video that's literally titled, Should You Record Abuse Evidence Videos? And then I think I even mentioned this. No, I definitely mentioned this in my open a channel video for subscribers titled Message to Abused Kids. To be truthfully honest, if you're even in a situation where you're being made to feel like you have to record stuff to go back over to make sure you're right and to make sure they said this and to prove something to somebody, you shouldn't even be in the situation if you have the option to get out. It's not even worth it. Like, honestly, as somebody who is known as a kid with 2,000 abuse evidence videos that couldn't get any help, all that bullcrap, it's really not worth it. Unless you want videos to look back on once you escape and save yourself, to remind yourself of how far you came and to keep going. Other than that, there is no help. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to save you. So you just trying to, like, record videos for, like, court and all that stuff, that's probably, you're lucky if you even get a court case, but I wouldn't even advise it. It'll put you in more danger, and it's focusing on everything else but the fact that you have to save yourself.
Trying to tell people my past and stuff. Whatever she say about my past, that's old, and I don't care about that. I look past that shit because it's old, and I gotta move on with life. So yeah, and it seems to me that every time I come around my mom, she be trying to put me down.
And then it's like in the first interview, she was 11, 12 years old. But people want to find a reason to blame an 11, 12-year-old for this, and then it's like,
make me feel insecure and make me just bad. Like, she keep talking about.
Although apparently in like the past few weeks she's turned 16, which is actually, I don't know, I thought she was like younger than that, but
my weight and stuff. I mean, I'm only 15. So how thick you want me to be? Like, for real. She got a little weight.
And that's the stuff that abusive parents will do, and abusers and weird sexual predatory people will do to push you into an eating disorder. And yeah, I don't know what to say about that, but
how to act like. But yeah, y'all, this is a new page because my other one's is shadow banned and stuff, and then the other little page that's posting, that's not me, that's a fake page. But yeah, y'all, I don't know what to say on here, but I know I'm finna go on Instagram and TikTok trying to expose me and stuff, and I just be trying to let people know the real because she be trying to make me look bad. And then my thing
and
is,
people learn about exposing everybody, but these traffickers, like Tania has all her little different abuse stories, Nova has hers, plenty of other people have theirs. And, and it's like, that's why, especially when I saw the whole court case with the RICO indictment, it made me think back to that dude I met back when I was still in GA, before I went to the West Coast, which I came back to the East Coast like some months ago. But I have a video about this dude who was telling me about how, like, he used to live in LA, and pretty much he claimed he was just making agreements with people on how to make money, but he was a trafficker, he was a pimp. And I do wonder, like, what all stuff he was involved in, especially since I seen the RICO indictment behind the LA gang thing, which is like, okay, so you're doing a RICO indictment on a gang, on a whole bunch of broke people trying to make some money, but it's like, shoot, what about a RICO indictment on all the rich people that are, like, doing the high-level stuff, and are, like, not saying that, the lower-level people shouldn't also be prosecuted, but it's like, even that has its own little agenda behind it. But it's like, still, people want to expose, quote unquote, and call out everything with the people that need to be called out, because nobody really gives a crap. That's why judgment will come, because people are their own worst enemy, and society like the chaos and torture that goes on, even if they pretend they don't.
I was listening to this lady that we call our granny, supposedly, and the granny calling me talking shit about my mama, but when my mama get with her, she talking shit about me to my mama. So it's like, we playing both sides. That's why I just distance myself away from this motherfucker. Like, I'm finna get away anyway. I'm finna go probably back to a different state because I'm not finna keep dealing with this shit. Then she be trying to put people that I'm around in danger and put them on the internet. Nobody wants to be in this internet shit but her. Like, you feel me? I barely want to do this shit. But
And yeah, that's another thing as well. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, when you like have somewhere decently safe to go, or maybe it's not safe, but you try to like get out the situation, and your smear campaign all over the internet by abusers, from missing persons reports to just like internet videos and all of that. And it's like, shoot, and Tania was saying she's been homeless off and on for decades or something like that. So it's like, doesn't sound like they really have anywhere to go. Not that that's funny, but it's like, it's just the fact that people are like talking about the whole thing of like her not being where she's supposed to be, but Tania's saying they don't have anywhere to be anyways. So it's kind of like, okay.
I'm not finna keep getting bashed on the internet because of her. Like, that's, And I've tried to stop. Like, I tried to stop doing all of this, but it gets to a point, like, I'm not just finna keep, I'm getting older, I'm not finna keep doing this shit. I'm not finna keep kissing nobody but nothing. Like,
and then, like, this even goes back to the whole part one of the why mental illness isn't caused by demons series or video. No. Yeah, hold up. I don't know, but the part one. For the part one, I have a screenshot of a TikTok somebody made, which I'm not trying to, like, bash this person. I really get that people are pretty brainwashed, and people, when they, like, say things like what she was saying, they don't really mean it in, like, a bad way. People think that, like, they're helping, they're spreading awareness, but no, they're still victim blaming. But anywho, she was talking about some pedos. I mean, wait a minute. Well, yeah, pedos love quote-unquote bad kids. And I go over how in the comment section people are talking about Celeste, which her situation sounds like industry trafficking and sacrificial ritual, to be honest, that her family was involved in. But okay. They were talking about Celeste, people are mentioning Nova. And it's like, I don't even know what to say about it. And it's like the whole, I don't even know what to say. And then it's like, what, I don't know. People are just really not smart. That's all. That's the only thing that could really be said about it. People aren't that smart. Maybe that'll be the title.
Say